What if I told you that Thomas and Mr. Sutherland are the links to six love interest? This theory has been months in the making, and it's fascinating how the most obvious clues were tucked away in the background of foils and storyline. Now, before we get into Thomas and Mr. Sutherland specifically, we need to talk about the foundation this theory is built on, the game's foil structure. If you're already familiar, think of this part as a quick refresher. So, what exactly is a foil? In storytelling, a foil is a character whose traits directly contrast another's, and in this game, that structure isn't just present, it's intentional. Currently, we have 5 love interests and 2 clear narrative counterparts that anchor this theory. Interestingly, both of them are from Philos and share that signature white hair, but their roles are split. Xavier is a deep space hunter, a figure associated with order and protection, while Sylus is leader of Onykinus, a criminal organization, one symbolizing light while other darkness. Even their zodiac signs follow this pattern. With Xavier's Libra and Silas being an Aries, they act as literal opposites according to the Greek and Roman mythology. Their similarities are striking, but the differences are what matter. Both of them are protectors, a doctor and a colonel, but where one protects by healing and saving lives, the other has to kill. Same instinct, but completely different expression. They are tied together by their shared history with MC, and both have reunion themes in the story, and apparently a mutual curse too, where their hands just can't catch a break. So, keeping this pattern in mind, we know that six love interests will be counterpart of Raphael. Now, this was something the majority of us might already know. But here is the catch, there is a pattern in NPCs of the foils too. Let's see this one with examples as well. In Xavier's storyline, the major NPCs are Jeremiah and Isaiah. And if you have been following the recent main story update, you will know exactly what I mean when I say these two just.
You promised you wouldn't tie me up, but you went back on your word. I'll dismember you, turn you into custard to spread on bread, and eat you!
They said they wouldn't tie you up. But did I say that? I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Meanwhile, Luke and Kieran have a whole different vibe. They plot together, they bicker, they finish each other's sentences in the most chaotic way possible. We can truly say that their brains are in sync, which makes sense because they are literal twins. In the category of workplace NPCs, for Zayne, we have Grayson, who is Zayne's assistant, and Yvonne, a nurse in the Axo hospital. On Caleb's side, we have Gideon, his former classmate and friend, and then there is Liam, Caleb's most trusted subordinate in the entire Farspace fleet. From some of the recent memories, we know that both Grayson and Gideon are nursing a crush on a girl. One more interesting observation is that both of them share one initial and two final letters in their names, but I think it could just be a coincidence. Here are some more characters who I think mirror across Zayne and Caleb's storyline. Not necessarily similar personality wise, nor the ideologies, but it acts as a pointer towards how the NPCs are structured in the game. Now that we can clearly see the parallels in the NPCs across the game for both foil pairs, we can draw the conclusion that the six love interest and Raphael's NPCs will likely follow a similar pattern. When we saw Mr. Sutherland in the 2 Hour Yesterday trailer for the first time, many of us wondered if he was the sixth love interest. But his character design is not exactly up to the mark for a new love interest, nor the way he was introduced in the main story. But the main reason why some people immediately thought of sixth love interest when they saw him was because of this. He is connected to Ever. But since he is not the sixth love interest himself, I thought of this the other way. What if he is related to the sixth love interest in some way? Could he be his assistant? Which naturally raises the next question. How are we so sure that the sixth love interest is someone who is connected to Ever? Some more clues were found in the recent World Underneath Updates last chapter named Fairnight's Edge, which strengthened this theory. So let's take a look at its fourth chapter, Gaia Research Center. While tracing the source of mysterious investment, a new company called Core Tech, which dabbles in protocore energy, appeared. Its chief director, their background untraceable, remains shrouded in mystery and appears to maintain a form of close collaboration with Ever. Let's look at this closely. A chief director with no traceable background running a company that works closely with Ever but isn't part of Ever? That distinction is important. This isn't someone operating from within the organization. It's someone powerful enough to exist alongside it and mysterious enough that the game is deliberately keeping them in the shadows for now. And this also reframes how we understand the Gaia Research Center. This chapter implies that Gaia did not originate from within Ever. Rather, it already existed and now it is a semi-independent experimental institution operating outside Ever's direct structure and backed by this new company. So, we are looking at Core Tech as a separate power base. A collaborative faction with enough resources and influence to fund an entire research center, all from the shadows. Now let's circle back to why I think Mr. Sutherland could be the sixth love interest assistant, or at the very least, someone directly connected to him. Yes, the first point is that both are close to Ever, but there is another pattern as well. Think back to how we were introduced to Rafayel. When we met him for the first time, we didn't even know his name, let alone the fact that he is a famous painter. Then we hear Raphael's voice in his art gallery, which turns out to be an AI assistant programmed to sound like him. There, we also meet Thomas, who introduces himself as Raphael's manager and also has a separate 3D model than just a 2D one like this. And from everything we have just laid out, we can draw a pretty clear conclusion about what the sixth love interest introduction will look like. We will likely get a hint about his voice before we ever see his face and a 3D modeled NPC related to him in the storyline. We have seen how the introductions of OG3 allies have been more natural and how Sylus and Caleb's introductions or reintroductions have been more on fancier side. So keeping this in mind, Infold will be even more secretive about it this time. They won't rush his intro by giving us a direct glimpse of him in the main story, but rather lead us to him by giving crumbs of information. Which sounds exactly like the secretive version of how we first met Rafayel, but skipping the face reveal step for now. Which brings us to the two possibilities for how his NPC structure actually plays out. If this possibility is true, the structure maps almost perfectly onto Raphael's introduction. We skip the ally face reveal part for now because Infold wants to keep it a secret. Then we hear this voice in the first chapter of 2 Hour Yesterday main story called Mission.
I ask and you answer. So long as you don't lie, I can guarantee your head will stay intact.
We can talk about this.
Where's Benedict?
The voice sounds robotic, as if it was modified to conceal the speaker's identity. There is a chance that this voice might belong to the sixth love interest. Notice how it mirrors Rafayel's introduction when we heard that AI assistant speaking for the first time. Let's not forget this man we saw in the Galactic Sunset main story chapter named Trap. Many of us thought that he and Mr. Sutherland are the same person. But I think not. Both of them have Ever's logo on their dresses. But if you hear their voices closely side by side, you will notice the difference.
The more enticing the bait, the more dangerous things can get. Most are clueless to it.
You kept your word. I'm certain our cooperation will be pleasant this time as well. Rest assured, I have no intention of claiming the protocore. I have it. However, I need to verify the ether core.
We can see the differences in the way they talk as well. The Nest guy has a calmer and thoughtful speaking style. Mr. Sutherland, on the other hand, sounds overconfident and almost arrogant. Another proof that they are not the same person is that the Nest guy wears a ring on his ring finger, which indicates that he's either engaged or married, but Mr. Sutherland doesn't. This also breaks the theory that the Nest guy might be sixth love interest, because Infold wouldn't want to give us an engaged love interest. Now, if we go with this possibility, we are yet to know who the Nest guy really is. But I think this theory is stronger because I feel like Mr. Sutherland has lost all his aura after that fight scene with MC and Rafayel. He has already become a punching bag for Rafayel-MC duo first. And I have this feeling that he might become the same for 6LI and MC Duo too. But one thing is for sure. We will see more of Mr. Sutherland in the future because no one creates a 3D model of a character for a 1-minute cutscene when we already had his 2D one. Unless we are going to see him again. We also know that Thomas is married according to one of the World Underneath chapters, so this second possibility goes well with that too. If we look at the love interests in Love and Deepspace and map them along a moral spectrum scale, you start to see a clear progression in how complex and morally ambiguous each character gets. The sixth ally, based on everything we have pieced together, might just be the most intense one yet. Think about what his position implies. If he is connected to Gaia Research Center and potentially its primary sponsor, then he most certainly knows what experiments were being performed on NC there in the past. Maybe not the full picture, but enough. And if you have read the World Underneath chapter that details exactly what those experiments involved, you already understand just how heavy that knowledge makes him as a character. I'm genuinely excited to see how the writers handle it because if they follow through on what the setup is promising, this could be the most emotionally complex route in the entire game. If you want to go even deeper on 6 love interest evidence, I have covered the UI design clues in a separate video. Link is in the description. And thank you so much for watching. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear which possibility you think is more likely, and I'll see you in the next one.